Alright, you know me bibia akwaba aha Ghost TV Plus. Wa unsubscribe to the channel ni bia be subscribe amaye. Abofrey a ogina hoyi a wo hwe no wo screen so video so abofrey bia waku ono ane nana all because of oba ho enti toshi ho nti ye be kan toshi ho nti waku onana hey oba huti watimi akun wonana na asem ne de na ba be wiem e hefa say no ba be wiem e court na akra na kasa kire kwan a fa so a ema wotimi age wonana ekra efiri ne nsem ye wonana bema ekra efiri ne nsem wo court ho ne nyina ye be play amamo atie ensem no ne nyina ye edie hu o tonga ba kwa oba beti oluma no kire se ne nana no tonga sem ontwema akra imfa tonga embewura dem na ablanti just was one tiase se onana no akasa ananye watimi age onana no ono ane nana o ne nana wage ne kra afri ne nsem wage ne nana ne kra afri ne nsem enye easy kra wa subscribe to the channel no the best over subscribe am Ghost TV Plus o comment no ho ehia me comment no o comment ewia no wa like video no na sa wo like ya na wa share ama our friends Facebook page bia wo bia group bia wo join or WhatsApp Facebook social media platform no baby biara wo bia na wa share akọ na wa fefo a omo so group no omo so enya bia hwe na omate de ekoso ewo wiase esan say no de ekoso ewo wiase no ehu pa de esisi ewo wiase no ade bia ehu hwe video na abon say akra no over 22 years akra 22 years na watimi age wona na kra free nsem all because of tosh tonga obetu wona na se omani ntu tonga no na abrante yetimi ekun wona na no mi busa seseke ye wo a sa na ka obeya na kira wa adwene video we ho na enye kama esan say all the time yesua ade de besi bia no ye hwa na yesua bibi ayeden afrimo nya madam for Spencer ene kan wo se de ekoso wiase de ehu na enche wiase wie ye ebe ba wona ne ya adwira da de abrante wi kan wona ne ya adwi wiase wie na eba na onua mi bisa o se akrageto 22 years utimi ekun nana ewo twa hunti sebi mo fa ncheme twa hunti wakun nana o girlfriend twa hunti 75 years old watimi akuna da bi na se wutirimo akra ne tirimo eden pa ne tirimo eden na yenhwe video no kakra.
And it's usually hard to believe one did not mean to kill the person, only after what is done when the accident might have happened. So if this was a fight and Siyabonga mistakenly or did not mean to kill his grandfather, or somewhere along the line hit his grandfather, causing him to sex without disturbance. 22 years old Siyabonga Sanderson was asked by the family to live with their grandfather, 75 years old Albert Sanderson. Siyabonga was assigned to take care of him, look after him, care for him, and pretty much just live with him in his home in the village. Albert was said to be a farmer. He had a ranch where he took care of animals, cows, one of those farm animals kind of house, seemingly like a ranch. And he lived alone. Well, not on between the grandson and the grandfather was about girls. While living with his grandfather, Siyabonga was said to be fond of bringing girls to the house for fun, for sex, and it was on a consistent basis. Although a particular article claimed he only brought his girlfriend and the grandfather had issues with it. But I doubt his grandfather would have had issues with him just bringing a particular girl. If that was his girlfriend, I would assume or I would guess she would have been part of his life and part of the man's life, and he wouldn't have had issues with it. Which is why I sort of get towards the articles or the sources that are saying Siyabonga was actually bringing in multiple girls to the house, and that was what Albert had an issue with. Now, it's not clear if Albert spoke to his older children or any members of the family about Siyabonga's promiscuous ways, but I'm sure that conversation must have been had. However, on the 6th of November 2023, while in his house still in Mpumalanga, South Africa, where all of this is taking place, Albert confronted his grandson, Siyabonga, because obviously Siyabonga was a young man. He is 22. What do 22-year-olds do other than have sex? Like, what else do they do? And living with his grandfather, I can imagine maybe that was why he even chose to live with the grandfather, so that he can keep bringing girls to the house without anyone monitoring him or caring so much about his whereabouts or about the things he does. Because I don't know how many young people would want to really look after their grandparents. I don't know how many. So I'm sure part of his reasons for agreeing was because only he and his grandfather would share the house, and given the fact that Albert is an elderly person, he thought it wouldn't be much of a problem if he kept bringing girls home. But unfortunately for him, it was a problem, and Albert confronted him. However, the confrontation on that day, the 6th of November 2023, turned physical. And somewhere during the physical activity, somewhere during the fight between this 75-year-old man and his 22-year-old grandson, Albert collapsed. It was said Siyabunga must have hit him, causing him to hit his head on the floor, causing him to go unconscious or maybe die. But again, we've talked about stories where it's usually hard to believe one did not mean to kill the person. Only after what is done when the accident might have happened. So, if this was a fight and Siyabunga mistakenly or did not mean to kill his grandfather or somewhere along the line hit his grandfather, causing him to fall,